This is the 7th lesson in geometry. And today's lesson is on symmetry. Look at the background and you have maybe a clue of what we're looking at when we talk about symmetry. There are lots of lines or arrows and dashed lines and figures. Let's take a look at the next screen and start a discussion on symmetry. If you take a look at this simple figure, it's a heart. And many of us have cut hearts for Valentine's Day. Well, I've taken a moment beforehand and drawn a line on this side of the heart, on just one side of the heart. And when we're talking about symmetry, what we're talking about is if we can cut something in half and it's the same on both sides, we would say that it's symmetrical, or it has a line of symmetry. I'm going to just draw a dashed line down through the middle here. That's a line of symmetry. Let me take now this piece that I have drawn before. Let me just move that off there. You can see I have drawn one side of the heart. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that over and see if it matches the other side. Whoops, got my line of symmetry instead of my heart. And if I drawn it really carefully, oh yes, it matches the other side. That is one line of symmetry. The line of symmetry is represented by the dashed line through the middle. Well, let's take a look at another figure. This one is a triangle, of course, and you'll notice that there are 3 lines of symmetry put on top of this one. There's a red line, there's a blue line, and there's a yellow line. And each of those lines represent a place where this figure could be folded and that other side would fold perfectly on top of it. I've got a triangle that I've drawn here, and it represents half of the larger triangle. And what I've done is drawn it, and what we're going to try and do is see if we can flip that one over. And if it flips perfectly over, now remember I had to draw this one by hand, so it's not going to be exactly perfect, but it's going to be pretty close. Yeah, I would say that works. There's a line of symmetry there. Let's take that triangle now. We're going to rotate it and put it up against the red line of symmetry here. Take a little maneuvering to get that into place. Let's see if we can scoot that up there just a little bit and maybe over just a smidgen here. Okay, we're down. Okay. Yeah, we're going to say that's good. So now we're going to flip that one, and let's see if it matches the other side. Yes, it does. Okay, we'll do it one more time. Let's put it on the yellow line. Let's see the yellow line. I'll move it around this way. Put it up against the yellow line there. We've had it against the blue line. We've had it against the red line. Now we're going to put it against the yellow line, and we'll flip it one more time to see if it matches. Slide it up over the other side and rotate just a smidgen here. Okay, and that one matches too. So this triangle has 3 lines of symmetry. If I can fold it and the fold goes perfectly over the other side, that would be a line of symmetry. Here's another figure. How many lines of symmetry would you guess this thing has? Well, the circle, you can cut it in half here or fold it there, and that will fold perfectly on top of the other side. Oh, if I fold it this way, it'll fold perfectly on. If I fold it this way, it'll fold perfectly. If I fold it that way, well, let's see. I think if we folded it almost any way, it would end up lining up perfectly. And so this figure has an infinite number of lines of symmetry. Many, 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 many lines. An infinite number. There's no end to the ways you can fold that. Now we got some real figures that we're looking at. This, of course, is our friend, the monarch butterfly. And if you had to take a look at this, you'd say, well, let's see now. If I had to fold that in half, and you can imagine his wings flexing or her wings flexing. Actually, it looks kind of like it does look like a boy there, because I can kind of see some faint dots right down there where those arrows I just put in. So if you could fold this, well, I've drawn a black line along the edges of his wings here. You can see that. And so if I'll just take those wings, I'll flip those over. And if it matches up on the other side, we've got one line of symmetry. Yes, we do. So I'm going to indicate that line of symmetry with the arrow through the middle here. Oops, let me get my arrows here. And the butterfly has one line of symmetry. Let's go on to the next real life figure. Oh, a person's face. And I've taken a moment to draw in like around the eye, the nostril, the ear, the mouth, and the jawline. And oops, I've got the arrow here again. And I'm going to move those aside. I'm going to flip that over and see if it matches up. You'll notice that, of course, yeah, it does. Now, not perfectly, because human faces aren't always perfect, but let's see, if we had to draw that, we'd say there is one line of symmetry. Whoops, I'll back up here a bit. I'm trying to get that line of symmetry to move over, and I keep pushing the wrong thing here. And just move him over just a bit. A little bit more in the middle there. A line of symmetry. You notice there's one eye on each side, one nostril on each side, one ear on each side. The lips kind of match up. And if you go on to the next slide, you'll say, oh, the human body has a line of symmetry. Right down through the middle here. One side is like the other. And I've even drawn the one side of the body. And we're going to flip that over. And with humans, again, we're not perfectly symmetrical. And that's kind of an interesting thing to note, too, that, you know what, we're symmetrical, but not perfectly symmetrical. And even if you take a look at that drawing, it looks like that one leg might be drawn a little bit bigger than the other. And maybe it's just the artist, that would be me, making the art and tracing over those lines. But human beings are symmetrical, but I wouldn't say perfectly symmetrical. Let's go on to the next slide. And here we have some letters. And some of these letters have one line of symmetry, and some may have more. Let's take a look at this letter A. If we take a look at the top of the letter, I'm just going to use an arrow here to indicate the top. And if we match it, if we can just imagine cutting that A in half this way and folding that down, you could see that, yeah, that's not going to match. But if you cut the letter this way and folded this across, yes, you'll see that that does match. And so this letter A, we would say, has one line of symmetry. So I'm just going to draw that line right down through the middle there. Let's take a look at letter B here. Well, letter A, we had one line of symmetry that went from top to bottom. But if I tried to cut this letter this way, these bumps here on this side do not match the other side. So that isn't symmetrical that way. But how about the other direction? Let's see, if I cut it this way. Oh, I can see that if this corner folded down to this corner here, yes, that would match. And these two bumps here on this side match. So we would say that the letter B has one line of symmetry, and it's right through the middle there. Let's maybe change that color to something that we can see a little bit better. Whoop. All right, backing up here. I want to select that line and change that line of symmetry to yellow. You can see it going across the B. Okay, and then the letter C. Let's see. If I cut it this way, I notice that if I look at this side here, there is no opening. So if I folded this across this direction, there is no line of symmetry that way. Get rid of these marks here. But if I put the line of symmetry in another direction, there is a line of symmetry right here through the middle. If I fold the top down, fold this part down to here, yes, I can see that. Oh, if I folded it in half along that yellow line, the top would match the bottom. Let's take a look at letter H now. And again, if you think about folding it, and I'm going to look at it this direction first. If I folded one side against the other, yes, that would match. How about the other direction, though? If I folded it against this yellow line this way, oh, yeah, that would match too. So letter H has got two lines of symmetry. Now you look around the things in the world, there, besides letters or people's faces or butterflies, there are many things that have lines of symmetry. You just need to start looking at them to see all the things that have lines of symmetry. I've got a figure here drawn in black on our dot paper. I'm going to be using some green, and I'm going to take a look at the line segments here. There's two line segments. I'm going to draw something that is symmetrical, and it's going to be opposite of what I've got here. So it's going to go to the right, and this black line went here, of course, to the left. I went to the right 2 line segments, and then down 2 line segments, 1, 2, so I'm going to go down 2 line segments, and then this one went to the left. I'm going to the right again, down another one line segment, down a line segment, in, okay, and then down 1, 2 more line segments down, and then close the figure off. Okay, there I've drawn something now that is symmetrical. It has one line of symmetry, or it's the same on both sides. Actually, this one probably has more than one line of symmetry. If you took a look at that, we could cut this one this direction too, and it would have another line of symmetry. Let's take a look at the blue figure now, and I'm going to draw the other side to draw its matching side, and let's see, it's down to this dot here, and then down here, and now we've got a perfectly symmetrical figure. It has one line of symmetry. I wonder, does this one have a second line of symmetry? I'm going to use my arrow tool and just go across here. Let's see, I'm going to move this one edge down just a little bit. That edge down here. A little crooked here. And we're moving it up to the dots. Okay. Would you say that the top above the yellow dashed arrowed line is the same as the bottom? Well, I'm just going to take a look at that. I'm going to draw over it with black. And then what I'm going to do, see if I can flip that black line over and down. Let's see, up and down. And pull that over. No. That is not the same as the bottom of that. And it's a kind of a kite shape, isn't it? And this top is not the same as the bottom. So there is not 2 lines of symmetry on this. There's just 1 line of symmetry there. So lines of symmetry, things that match from one side to the other. Let's take a look at your workbook page now on page 117. And of course, again, if you want to look at text page 315, you can find some more information about our lesson today was on symmetry and things matching on each side of the line of symmetry. And our first set of instructions here is the dashed line a line of symmetry? You can write the word yes or no. Remember, if you can fold on that line and it matches perfectly after you've folded it, it is symmetrical. Our next set of instructions, down by number 9, draw a line of symmetry through each figure. Okay, well, be careful that when you draw your line of symmetry, and again, your line of symmetry is going to be that dashed arrow line, so that we know that we're talking about a line of symmetry. And check carefully that when you draw the dashed line, that you could actually fold that on that dashed line and that they would match from side to side. The next set of instructions, draw a capital letter that has 2 lines of symmetry. Oh, a capital letter. Well, I know if you think back to the page that we had capital letters, we had a capital A and a capital C and a capital B. Oh, one of those had 2 lines of symmetry. So you have to go through the alphabet now and look for the other ones that have 2 lines of symmetry. There might even be a capital letter that has more than 2 lines of symmetry. But have fun with that and good luck. I look forward to seeing your lesson on symmetry tomorrow.